The toad that broke Australia. Let's do it.
Australia is home to some of the deadliest animals on the planet. But what if I told you there's one creature they all fear? An invasive species, millions strong, wiping out native animals that we are locked in combat with to this very day. What kind of vile beast is capable of spreading such reckless hate? The answer is this fat fucking toad.
I don't believe that.
But how did this war begin? Well, to answer your question, we're gonna have to go way back. The year is 1866. We are in the land down under, and our story begins the same way many tragedies do, with the British. You see, having gone hippity-hoppity, your ancestral home is now my property around 90 years back, the Brits were in full swing, rampantly colonising the country. And part of that included agriculture. Now, they brought with them many crops, but the important one in this story is sugarcane. Sugar was valuable, not only for trade, but also because, well, the fucking tea isn't going to sweeten itself, is it?
Yeah, this guy is hilarious, bro.
But you see, sugarcane only grows in the heat, which ruled out the south of the country. It also likes humid environments, which ruled out Western Australia.
The Big New Yorker.
Which left them with one option. And so, the cane farmers loaded up their first Stardew Valley save in Queensland in 1866. But the farmers ran into an issue. You see, Queensland is home to these nifty little bugs called Dermalopida albertum. These are native beetles that hit their macros by munching on plant leaves. So when cane farmers joined the Queensland Minecraft server and set up a f***ing Hermitcraft-sized farm, the beetles were in heaven and set to work demolishing the plant leaves. Now, funnily enough, the adult bugs weren't actually the problem. Sugarcane leaves hold all value. But the problem is that with such an abundant food source, the bugs started multiplying, laying their eggs around the base of the plants. These eggs hatched into larvae. And unlike the grown-ups, these little worms don't eat the leaves. They eat the roots. And so the sugarcane starts getting absolutely fucking spit roasted. And the farmers can do nothing but watch as sugarcane yield plummets through the floor along with their profits. This whole situation really pissed off the farmers, who banded together, went to the Australian government, and told them to fucking fix it. Sir, a horde of creatures is destroying.
What are they gonna do?
And so the Queensland government founded the Bureau of Sugar Experimentation Stations, or the BSES, in 1900. This team of crack scientists then immediately set out trying to solve the very same issue every single Factorio player faces. This place is covered in bugs. They are breaking my shit. How do I violently slaughter the local wildlife in order to expand capitalism and my profit margins? The BSES pondered this question for 25 fucking years. They tried spraying chemical insecticides. Didn't work. They tried injecting insecticides into the soil. Didn't work. They tried releasing the fucking cordyceps fungus. And it still didn't work. Then, one day in the office, while pondering this question, Jamwon had an idea. Okay, we are getting outmaneuvered by the cast of Bugs Life. Someone in this office, please give me anything.
What was the idea, bro?
What about cane toads?
What?
What?
Yo, me and him saying the same shit, bro. Like, what is he talking about?
Cane toads. Those big fucking fat things that exist in the cane fields in Hawaii. I mean, it's a frog. They eat bugs. We just introduce an invasive species to fix a problem caused by an invasive species. I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
Oh, boy. Oh, no.
Find a Planet Fitness near you for $1 down.
Now this thing has an abundance of food. 2 invasive species with an abundance of food. Oh, no. Oh, no.
And so, in June of 1936, 2,400 brave cane divers were deployed to the fields to deal with the arthropod menace.
Wow.
But there's just one small issue. Cane toads were fucking dog shit. Yeah, funnily enough, big, fat, slow, ground-dwelling toads were not exactly the smartest solution to deal with beetles that spend the majority of their adult life 6 meters off the fucking ground. On top of that, cane toads don't dig for food either, so they didn't eat the larvae. Now, this all sounds like information that should have come up during the research and study phase of the plan. This, however, implies that there was a research and study phase.
There wasn't, bro.
The BSES did not conduct a single fucking study on environmental impact before releasing an army of cane toads. Are you This complete
crazy
absence of brain cells caused a rather spectacular domino effect of ecological f***ups. And it's going to teach you a valuable lesson about invasive species. You see, while the cane toads barely ate what they were supposed to, they did eat. And as incredibly large omnivorous toads, they ate practically anything they could fit into their mouths.
Me too.
Rats, mice, lizards, snails, baby birds. It was the toad equivalent of fucking Kirby. And then, not unlike the exact problem they were brought here to solve, with all that food, they started reproducing.
Uh-huh.
A lot. In fact, female cane toads can lay anywhere between 8,000 to 30,000 fucking eggs per clutch.
What?
But I mean, this should not be too much of a problem. Australia is home to some of the deadliest creatures on the planet. Surely, the local wildlife has this under control. Wait, what?
Yo.
Cane toads are poisonous. So those little bulges on the shoulder, and those are parotid glands, and they are packed to the brim with bufotoxin. No, that's not a D's nuts joke. Now, whenever the adult toads are threatened, they will squirt this white, sticky fluid out of the glands. Ingested, it does two things. One, makes you trip absolute balls thanks to the hallucinogenic bufotenin. And two, the other ingredient, bufogen, just straight up gives you a fucking heart attack.
Oh my God.
It's important to note that this toxin is also present in their eggs and tadpoles. Now, in their natural habitat, this isn't as much of a problem because everything around them has had thousands of years to get good and deal with this ass poison build by either developing immunity or learning to eat around the glands. But Australia is not their ecosystem, and despite all of the deadly animals we've got, they have had a grand total of 5 minutes to adapt to the presence of the fucking tailored toad.
Yo, this thing OP. This thing overpowered.
Quick question for the class. What happens to an animal population when there is nothing to eat it? It gets bigger. And so, shortly after being introduced, a rapidly expanding tyrannid swarm of toads began to spread.
I want to know how many there are, bro.
The BSES noticed this and did fucking nothing. Because it technically didn't affect the sugar cane. The swarm spread further, occupying all inhabitable parts of Queensland, and they were laying so many fucking eggs that their clutches began polluting the waterways like a bufotoxin.
Bro, are you fucking kidding me? You mean to tell me there was so many eggs, they were polluting the water? Yeah, this gotta be some of the craziest stuff I've ever heard in my life. And the fact that we have not heard about this over here in the US, at least I haven't, because I've gone to every single class imaginable on history and geography. Okay, not every one, but I'm surprised I ain't heard about this, man. Like, we're talking about some next level stuff. I thought the mangroves in Florida were bad. If you know, you know. This is 1,000 times worse.
Teabag, killing native fish as well as any animals that drank from the water. The BSES
Wow.
did nothing. Those eggs hatched into tadpoles, which started killing more fish. The BSES still did nothing. The swarm advanced, breaching into the Northern Territory and New South Wales. When questioned, the BSES insisted the toads were doing their jobs and everything was fine.
They
By
lied.
the 1980s, the toads were now starving out or just fucking eating local wildlife and one-shotting anything that tried to eat them. And considering
Busting on everything.
And considering, at this point, there were 5 fucking million of them.
They went from 1,400 to 5 million. And that's what, 20, 30, 40? I don't know how many years it was. But it should never get that out of hand.
That happened a lot. So, with local wildlife being absolutely fucking decimated, the BSES was forced to acknowledge that maybe, just maybe,
Listen, we fucked up.
but,
Big time.
oh well, everyone makes mistakes. Nothing we can do about it. No, they left it for the government to clean up. Sir,
Oh, boy.
second horde of creatures has escaped the cane field. Fuck! Yeah, they realised just how much damage was being done and in 1986 began funneling federal funds into controlling the population. They tried trapping and physically removing the toads, but unless they had 5 million traps, that wasn't going to do shit. Biological warfare was proposed in the form of releasing viruses and parasites, but was shot down because it would do just as much damage to the native wildlife. And so, the toad front continues to advance to this day.
Wow.
So where does that leave us?
How many are there now, bro? I want to know.
Short answer is kind of fucked. Cane toads now threaten a total of 75 native species, and they've even driven populations of animals like the northern quoll to complete extinction in parts of the
Damn.
country they infest. And with the population now sitting at 200 fucking million toads,
Oh
that
my
infestation
gosh.
is spreading, with predictions showing they will be fucking up ecosystems in 5 states in the near future. And given
Bro.
that they have amassed a population 10 times the size of the humans in Australia, the government has completely fucking abandoned the fight for eradication, switching focus to harm reduction, using bait toads covered in non-lethal but unpleasant substances to try to teach local wildlife
Yo,
that toad
yo.
bad. On top of this,
What
the
the
government has
hell?
encouraged the broader public to, just fucking kill the toads. You are supposed to do it humanely by catching them and sticking them in a freezer for 48 hours, but, most people don't want a frog taking up their freezer space. So they just
Yeah, I'm
use
not
a
doing that.
golf club or a car.
Yeah, and big, that's what I would do.
And with this being
I'm not
Australia,
freaking
our
keeping that in my
wildlife is
fridge.
also putting up a fight. Keelback snakes, for example, are immune to their venom, and Ricali and magpies have learned to flip them onto their backs before getting a feed. Now, jokes aside, you want to know who I feel genuinely fucking awful for? The toads. They didn't ask for any of this shit. They just got dumped onto a random island and did their thing, and now they are being actively hunted. No. The assholes in this story
Suffering from
are
success.
the BSES and
Yeah.
the cane growers.
Yeah,
Because
'cause
you
the
may be
toads
thinking,
really ain't bad.
Why were they allowed to do this shit in the first place? Well, that's the neat part. They weren't. The federal government banned the fucking idea when they came up for it in 1935, based on the advice of entomologists who rightly presumed the toads would become a bigger fucking issue than the beetles. But the BSES and the cane growers lobbied to have the ban lifted in 1936. We are stuck in permanent toad combat because these dickheads looked at scientific advice and went, nah. You have got to be fucked
Yo, I mean, you want to talk about
Merry
nutty.
Christmas.
This is
Happy
crazy.
holiday.
I gotta say, bro, what the hell are they gonna do in 30 years, 40 years? Because if they're not even trying to stop them no more, they've decided it's too many to even try and eradicate. They're just looking for prevention or harm prevention. That shows you that this is not going anywhere. These toads about to run this continent. The only good news of this all is the continent is surrounded by water. So when Australia is taken over by the toads, they don't come to other continents unless these motherfuckers learn how to swim. I'm out of here, man. This is my third channel. 2 other ones, link is in the description. Check them out. I'm out. Peace.